minutes left. Okay, let's go.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning.
Josh, we're ready.
No.
Oh.
To be on a podcast?
No.
You're live.
Oh, I'm
Yes, I
live.
do. I'm
We're
staying.
live.
Okay.
You're live.
We're live. Oh.
We're back. Do I look
Good morning.
rested to you today?
You look rested. You look clean. How's the sleep training going?
It's okay. I wore earplugs because we realized that if I go in and try to sleep train our baby, she wants milk right away.
Right.
So I equal milk. So Josh is the one that does the majority of it. And then we designate the time when I'm allowed to feed her. So I can't handle the crying. So I wear earplugs.
Aw.
Yeah.
You're a softie?
Oh, it's horrible. I know it's for everyone's good, but it's like she's so used to like crying and getting milk, and it's just not. She's old enough. She's over 6 months. So
I know she is old.
Yeah.
You don't have a newborn anymore.
No.
And I don't have any other clever questions. We should just read. Hey,
Just read.
We're not good at like the clever. Foreplay is the only word that's coming to me.
Clever foreplay. What kind of clever foreplay have you experienced?
We're not good at clever Devo foreplay. There's got to be another word. Our
introductory comments that are interesting.
Oh dear, I'm gonna get a message from Erin for sure today, and Julie. Morgane's gonna comment when she hears that. All right, here we go.
What the heck?
Today, I know. Today, on language of letting go. I know for sure there's comments that are going to be really funny, but I can't read them. So today on our reading, finances, taking financial responsibility for ourselves. The dog is so distracting. Taking financial responsibility for ourselves is part of recovery. Some of us may find ourselves in hard financial times for a variety of reasons. Our recovery concepts, including the steps, work on money issues and restoring manageability to that area of our life. Make appropriate amends, even if that means tackling a $5,000 debt by sending in $5 a month. Start where you are with what you've got. As with other issues, acceptance and gratitude turn what we have into more. Money issues are not a good place to act as if. Don't write checks until the money is in the bank. Don't spend money until you've got it in your hand. If there is too little money to survive, use the appropriate resources available without shame. Set goals. Believe you deserve the best financially. Believe God cares about your finances. Let go of your fear and trust. Today, I will focus on taking responsibility for my present financial circumstances, no matter how overwhelming that area of my life may feel and be. Thoughts? The promises of recovery.
So how are your finances, Vicky? Let's get real.
It's not really even about finances though. It's about it's about the heart, and like it's about like just taking care of all aspects of my life.
Mm-hmm.
And that recovery brings like joy and fullness and like finances, specifically finances, was an area that we did have to like send in $5 and learn to not spend money until we had it.
Well, and isn't it something like one of the top like reasons for like relational breakdown and even like divorce is finances?
I've heard that. I've for sure heard that.
But I feel like that's significant of just like, it's not about the money, but I think money is such is such a factor in our lives, whether we have it or not, or we want more of it, or, we're in debt and we've overspent, but like it's an immediate thing in our life. And I think that it's like, I'm always astonished at like, we talk about the good book and the big book. So the good book would be the Bible, and the big book would be the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous. And the good book talks a lot about money, a lot. And I think, like, obviously God is concerned with money. It's always been there. We've always had some kind of trading system. We've always had some kind of whatever. And I think perhaps our money also, maybe where we're at, like, can be a reflection of our like of our recovery. Cause like, okay, for me, I feel like, and you know this, I feel like I grew up in a place of scarcity. So it was like, my dad was a big spender, and he would spend money on lots of different frivolous things, whether it was like drinks or a car he would just get. He was very, very impulsive and very materialistic, and it stressed my mom out. So my mom, they were always like fighting back and forth of like her trying to hold on to the money because we didn't have like a ton to begin with, and him kind of just like using it up. And that was my perception anyway, growing up. And I think like I took that into marriage. I took that into adulthood of being like, there's never going to be enough. There's never going to be enough. And I live in fear. And it affects my life. And it's a thing I obsess about.
Well, and one of the things that I realized into, some ways into my recovery journey is I felt like the world owed me. I felt like, and that was a big thing. Like when John was using, when he came home, if he came home, or I mean, most of the time he eventually came home, but if he came home with money, he'd pass out, go to sleep, whatever, after a 3-day bender. And then like, at the end, like I would take whatever money was, if there was any money left in his wallet, there wasn't usually, but if there was, like, I would just take it. And I just felt like he owed me. And then I brought that into recovery too. I felt like the world owed me. I felt like he owed me. I felt like, everyone owed me. And so seeing where my finances were and how my bank account was and where I spent my money and how I felt about money was a huge indicator light about like what my spiritual condition was, what my emotional state was. And so it was only like 10 years ago that we really realized this was like a massive indicator light on the dashboard of our car that we'd been ignoring. When the engine light comes on, there's some lights that come on my car. I mean, we drive older cars. There's some lights that are just always on and you don't really pay attention to them because you're like, that's always on. And then there's another light that comes on and I literally like, I just feel like I need to pull over. I'm like, I don't know what this means. It's scary. So I think that we have to pay attention to stuff like that especially in recovery, because there is good and fullness that comes, but we have to actually wade through some muck, It's like realizing these things and like pushing through them and like changing a narrative. Brene Brown talks about, she felt like a turtle without a shell, and she's like in a briar patch and she's like, I have no shell. I have nothing to like calm the pain anymore. Like I don't have muffins. I don't have alcohol. I don't have, she was yelling at her therapist and like, her therapist said was yelling at her therapist to give her medication. And her therapist was like, or you could get out of the briar patch, like, what do you mean I can live my life without like protective layers? Yeah. You just change how you live your life. And I was like, I was rereading that this morning and I'm like, yes, we have to change how we live our life. Right. And so if there's things that bring me into chaos and, anxiety, like I actually need to change the way, like I need to not go there,
Well, I think that like recovery really, like the whole goal, not the whole goal, but what happens, I think, when you're living a life of recovery, I think you start to get into order and things get to order up, as opposed to like things spinning out and being crazy and unmanageable. You come into a place of manageability. And that's only done. We learned that it's only done through God. Like God's the one that's going to do it. It's not me having the perfect budget. It's not me, like saving over here and taking all the matters into my own hands, or getting that job because that job will give me the stability I'm looking for or anything like that. It just is that it's like, I think those promises of like, God will take care of us. Like as we give our life over to the care of God, God's not like spiteful or mean. He's actually loving and a really good, we were talking about yesterday, like a really good dad who provides and he takes care. And it's hard though. It's so easy to think these things. I've just realized with recovery and being around it long enough that you're like, I know a lot of the answers. I know the things that I'm supposed to say and what I should think, but you know, does it match what I actually do? Does it match like, my everyday life? And
So
yeah, finances are part of that. And so our director talked about what the cost of things. And I remember saying to you, like maybe even a year ago, or maybe less than that, as like we kind of like, you know, what we, you know, you wade into recovery and it's like, oh, okay, this is nice. Like this could maybe solve some problems for me. These steps seem really good. And then like you get into it more and you're like, oh, this is going to cost a lot.
Right. This is actually hard.
This is actually hard. I remember saying to you like, oh, I get why people, even like with young kids, don't do this. You wait until you're older because it's like, it's too hard. It takes too much time. It takes too much energy that already feels like such a precious commodity. But like realizing that that's actually kind of not true in terms of like, it gives life, but it just means, like you were saying earlier, like I have to look at my life differently. Like I have to start to like, I don't know. It's really living well.
It's really about paying attention. And I think especially when, you know, we feel that we're busy, we feel overwhelmed already. And there's this misconception, you know, that this is too hard or too much and I can't do it and I need to go back to the old way. And that's incorrect, you know, and giving up and going back to the old way looks easier, but it's not. Or just staying, you know, if we have little kids and we're tired and we're sleep training and we're potty training and, you know, we're tired. But what we don't realize is that actually putting in the extra effort to get my internal spiritual condition to a right place, the overflow of that is actually going to bring me more energy. It's going to bring me more life. And so no matter where we are, no matter what our circumstances that are around us, we actually will gain more life, more energy, more freedom through working a program of recovery. Even if we're busy, even if we think it doesn't apply to us, like it's not about just the drug addict and the alcoholic.
Yeah. Well, and it's like the running on self-will. I think we're getting time's up. But I think that like the big thing as I'm thinking about all of this now at the end here will be like, it is like, is it my self-will that is directing this boat? Is it like, am I the one doing it in every single area, whether it's my finances or my relationships or everything in life, really? Like, am I the one running the show or is God the one running the show?
Right.
And if God is the running the show, things are gonna change. But the good thing is that they change really for the best. And it's maybe not what I would naturally do, but the problem is what I naturally do got me into these problems in the first place. So I'll take another route, please.
So today at 12 o'clock, one of our favorite speakers is sharing at our noon recovery meeting, which is for anyone who resonates with like recovery or someone else in recovery, or anything really. Anyone could come. If you've listened to this and there's something that stood out to you, we would encourage you to come. It's at 12 o'clock today, Eastern time. But then the recording goes up on our Ashes to Rubies podcast, usually by the end of the day. So you could probably check out Ashes to Rubies podcast and find it there. And it's going to be Rachel sharing today.
Great.
Thanks for joining me, Joe.
What?
Thanks for joining me.
Oh.
All week while John recovers, he's resting his face. And he's actually doing pretty well at it.
Good. Good. I'm happy for his face to be rested.
I know.
Good. Well, it's good to see you this way, and we'll see you at noon. And everyone have a great day.
Bye. Thanks for joining.